folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join us in the wild paradise landscape of Scotland. And for today's adventure we're joined by Scotland's #1 DJ, and for today's adventure we're away to document a piece of abandoned history never seen before on the channel. So let's get into the action, folks. We're basically heading down this, which at one time was a drive for a Scottish estate that had a big mansion house. And yeah, cool little nuggets that went along with the mansion house. In the last video we saw the former ice house of the estate, and in today's video we're basically just going for a walk to see what other nuggets of history we can document. So check it out, folks, there's like an old bridge along here with some cool ironwork, but it looks like it's recently been modified and renewed, so it's a lot narrower than it used to be. But it's cool to see the old ironwork with the swirly metal. And then it's got those things like urns on the top. And we're basically still just heading our way through this same track we were on a minute ago. I just thought I would throw the camera on to, hey, look at this. Look at this one. You get an idea of the detail. Some of these old estates, it was like the best of everything that they used to get. It wouldn't just ever be a plain fence or a plain wall. It was always the finest of craftsmanship. Look at this, folks, this big stone gate posts into that field, and then here's one of the oldest bridges that we'll probably see today. This is one of the original bridges, unlike the one we saw a minute ago in the video, which had been modernised. It's cool to see this, and look, you get an idea of the detail of what they actually did back at that time. See how it's been crushed by like a tree? Yeah, the way it's been welded, it doesn't look as old, I must say. See some of them, I wonder if they've been repaired, or maybe the whole fence isn't actually as old.
Yeah, I don't think that's as old as the bridge.
Yeah, from the lie of the land here, it's almost like we're getting into the heart of the estate here, because the way that these trees are planted in the field and stuff, it looks similar to other estates I've walked through.
Where those trees are, that's where the original big house.
So up on this piece of land at the top of the hill here is actually where the original big house was on this estate, Fotheringham Estate. And you can kind of see it from the way the land has been landscaped at a certain time. These trees will be hundreds of years old. And it is interesting to see, when that big house was built, it was actually, there was a chapel knocked down to make way for it. And then obviously the big house has now been knocked down as well. So that's two buildings historically that was up there. Both now gone, unfortunately. But these videos we are doing is basically documenting the history that's left from those ancient times, the ancient estates. Some cool Massey Fergusons sitting there, folks. They look like forestry tractors. Shout out all the people that work on these estates and maintain them. This does look like a really well maintained and managed area. To the right hand side of this overgrown meadow you can now see the former walled garden of the estate here. And most estates used to have a walled garden. That was where they could grow a lot of fruits and vegetables or plants and things they would need within the kitchen of the big house. A lot of it was all grown within the big house walled garden. And sometimes, because of the high walls, they could actually grow things that you wouldn't be able to grow out in the open. But another interesting detail, those walls often used to be heated either from the warm air out of the greenhouse, or they had like a burner and it used to pump like warm water through pipes within the walls, so they could grow amazing like fruits and vegetables quite often back at that time.
Yeah, I can show you that.
Look at this, this is now inside the former walled garden area, folks, and you can see how many greenhouses there were. But it's so jungle like. These plants is like higher than head height. If I reached with my hand like that, I can't even reach the top of those plants over there. So we're going to come back maybe and document. There's actually the pipes and stuff going into the wall. Like I was saying earlier in the video, some of these places the walls were heated, and apparently that is the case here. I can see remains of old greenhouses that must have been built on the side of this wall as well. But it's just so overgrown today, folks. There's no point in trying to force our way through there. Check this out, folks. We've now come around and we're on another driveway. It's better paved than that kind of rougher track we were on a minute ago as we went round the side of that walled garden. So interesting to see that, and think of the size of the big house at a certain time to have a walled garden that big. Often these estates at a certain time employed 10 or 15 gardeners. Look at this massive mushroom growing here. But yeah, these estates, they had so many gardeners at a certain time, so many foresters even. Sometimes nowadays just one handyman or two doing the job of all those men, but obviously not as much work's needed anymore. And that's the reason the walled gardens and stuff are just obsolete. There's no big house anymore for it to serve. Oh wow, there's a massive round ducket over here. This is incredible. Look at it folks, there's a massive ducket through the trees right there, and it's round and it looks super different to a lot of the ones I've seen. Check this out folks, this next ancient piece of history here, abandoned in the wild landscape. Look at this old gate first of all, which leads us over to this incredible old ducket. Wow folks, look at this. The old gate here stands within the land. This is from the original estate for sure. Look at the difference with the ironwork compared to the more modern gate. And see how this one's not welded? That's how I think that other fence we saw on the bridge is non-original. Wow, look at this right here folks. A ducat. And the cool thing with the history of these ducats is that at a certain time Scottish big houses and estates had to have a ducat because they used to use an ingredient from the bird faeces for the military. And the navy and stuff back at that time, when they used to have proper like wooden boats with cannons and stuff sticking out of them, that was what they used the bird faeces for back at that time. Wow, I need to check myself for ticks. We're in a tick rich environment here. Wow, look at that in there. Check that out folks, real history of Scotland right there. Once again on the channel. I can hear pigeons nesting. The super interesting thing with this ducat folks, it's a round ducat. And we've only ever documented one other round ducat on the channel, more ancient. But the way this one's constructed is so special. It's got this bit on the outside which is super rare. And I'm guessing it's so the pigeon keeper boy wouldn't be getting all the faeces and droppings on him. It was almost like an exterior covering. Look at this old bracket. See, this is the kind of history we love to document folks, obviously with the greatest respects like the landowners and the farmer. And we just want to come and see what's here, because places like this every year deteriorate more and more, and before you know it the history can almost be gone. Wow, look at the old square nails or bits of brackets that must have been within the land. Super cool folks, but as normal with these videos we didn't go like forcing our way into places when the door's closed and sealed. And we always come with the respect to the landowners. We're not going to force our way in. It's good that we could actually see up within there how big this has been. It's been an absolutely massive, look at the ladder. Whoa, I didn't even notice that detail the last time. The boy must have climbed up that ladder. Wow, that is so cool. That sort of history folks, you'll have been able to get a better look at it than us from here. Once you see the footage it'll be cool. Wow, all those bird compartments. And the cool thing with this building, I don't know if I can see it too well from back here, the very top of it has almost got like a tower on it. Oh look, there's a weather vane with a cockerel. And then the bit that's on top of is like a wee tower, and that's where the birds would have gone out and in. And that's why when we knew, well when we could see this in the distance and we knew it was here, it's so worth coming over. Look, the old woodwork up there. Wow, this is such a special building right here folks. The shape of it and it's just rare. Eventually this roof's going to fall.
At one point maybe?
No sure. It's maybe just been for design.
Oh, decoration, yeah.
But it's interesting, this roof's almost down, and just think in a few more years it'll look so different. You can almost just appreciate the old architecture the way it is just now, when the Harlan's still on that upper part. As you can see, the top section is completely leaning over. And in a couple of years, maybe even a strong gust of wind or one of these trees blowing the wrong way, like that could be gone. The history's forgotten. And I love the wee slate roof up there. There's like a round tower roof and it's so well built. They just didn't build things like that anymore, folks. Amazing. And that's another unique place we've managed to document that we've never seen before. And to see this old iron gate as well, super special. Yeah, look, there's been a proper fence or something thrown in here, I think. So that shows that gate is maybe even taken from a different location. Yeah, this will actually be the remains of the old castle.
Wow.
Again, that'll be one of the gates from the big house.
Big stones from it.
Yeah, big slab stones. So it is cool to see that and imagine that wee tiny bit of history that's left. Yeah, look at all those stones as well, potentially from the original big house here at Fotheringham. And that ducket, it's almost like unseen because it's pretty much covered from all angles. And it is cool to record the more rare things on this channel, folks. This time of year though, like I've said in previous videos, everything's just so overgrown. It is mad even trying to go to the easiest of places. So that old ducket is right next to this farm and there's an interesting historical artefact there. Beside the farm wall there's an old grinding wheel, like a sharpening stone. So I think parts of the farm machinery and that would get sharpened up on there back in the day. I think it's probably been laid there. It'll have been taken out of the building most likely. But the character of these old buildings, I just love to see it. And areas like this are so well kept. So once again, there would have been the location of the old Fotheringham house, and that must have been the main home farm at a certain time that we just walked past. And that's how the big ducket was in close proximity to the original big house. I can see there's a beastie crawling up my sleeve here, folks. That's what happens when you're in these wild lands. The amount of creatures at this time of year and beasties fleeing about. All of them normally try to bite you. Look at this, folks, there's a cool old bridge here within the boundaries of this estate. Look, it's a double arch, like a wee viaduct. Check it out, it's so cool. Wow, look at that right there. Incredible scenes once again on the channel, folks. And I just love to see it. Obviously it's like this because the river will get quite high during storms. Look, there's holes bored in it for some reason. What a scene. Abandoned Scotland once again. This is not actually abandoned, folks, it's a current road and there's a house along there. That's how I'm keeping my voice low. We'll obviously come with the greatest respects to the owners here of the estate. Anybody around, we're just wanting to document stuff like that. It's not just a plain bridge, it's an incredible little double arch viaduct. And there's another cool item here. I think it's when the gamekeeper's obviously training. He's got this target set up. Folks, you see where he's been hitting it. He's got a good aim through the heart. And then there's obviously the targets at the side, maybe for zeroing in your sights. And then up at the top on the road here is where he would sit at the table with the gun mount. So look at this, folks, this is where the gentleman sits when he's taking his shots down at the deer. What would you say that is? Probably 100 metres or something away. Yeah. Roughly. Getting his practice in, folks. That's what these Scottish estates are famous for, and it's still popular. There's a lot of shooting goes on and the game is always kept on these lands. And yeah, we're heading back along this track now to find the main road that we came in. It's been a cool adventure documenting the history we've seen, even in this video alone, has been incredible. But in the last video as well, you can go back and see the ice house. That was another historical location at this same estate back in the day. So yeah, it's been mad. So much went on in these places and so much is still yet to be discovered in the lands of Scotland. It's so cool with these videos to record it and share it with the world. Keep the history alive. And then the adventure along the way. It's amazing. Seeing little corners of Scotland we never would have seen. Right, folks, that's us back out to the main road where we started this adventure. So I'm going to end this one here. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye from me, goodbye from Scotland's #1 DJ, and we'll see you soon for the next one, wherever we end up going.